Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Whatever time it is, wherever you are on God's beautiful earth, I hope you're doing well. I hope you have, what's today's word of wisdom going to be? Um, I hope you've checked the batteries in your smoke detector lately. Very important stuff. I guess it kind of is important. The reason that I mention that is because, as a matter of fact, uh, over the last couple of months, there's been like two apartment complexes in my town that have caught fire. And I was talking about that with somebody I work with just recently. Kind of scary. So yeah, check those smoke detectors, because you never know. But in any event, other than those beautiful words of wisdom, I am Saved Zillennial, and welcome to another episode of our Minecraft Relaxation Block. Basically, if you're new here to the channel, we just do a lot of video game content, and this is our Monday episodes. This is our Monday episode slot where we just kind of... Ooh, scary. We're building a little homestead here in Minecraft. I don't have any raw meat. I need to maybe start farming some animals. I need to maybe start farming just in general. Come on. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, yeah, come on in out of the cold. Yeah, there you go. You can sit there. You can sit there. Perfect. Look, I got little areas for the dogs. Man, it's really coming down out there. Oh, that is so ambient. Look at that. Jeez. Sorry about that. I get a little distracted. Let's go to bed. Oh my gosh. Ooh. It's still raining, huh? Oh, there it goes. Oh, that's crazy. That is so cool. Ooh, look at these guys. Jeez, I am very easily distractible today. No, if you are new to the channel, this is our Minecraft relaxation block. Basically what we're doing is we're just building a little homestead in Minecraft. You know, just something to kind of relax and unwind. It's really kind of something that I do. It's cathartic for me to just kind of, you know, get into Minecraft and just kind of explore, you know, build, explore, just do the Minecraft thing. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, if this is your first episode, definitely go and check out the channel. We've got a lot of other stuff that we do. This is our Monday time slot. We also do Wildcard Wednesdays, which Wildcard Wednesdays, it's kind of an ever-evolving sort of kind of like Russian roulette of different games. The kind of like basic focus that we've had thus far is just kind of to have a general theme of like mystery, suspense, thriller, ambience, moody, whatever you want to call it, right? Like our first series on that was a an attempt at doing like one of those 100-day hardcore survival horror challenges with a like horror mod pack, and that was fun. I enjoyed it for sure, but I did not make it anywhere near the 100-day mark, which is also hilarious. But we've also done a playthrough of Paratopic, which was really fun. That's just a one episode. That's just a one episode playthrough, so that's really easy to kind of get through, and it's not even really very long too. It's like somewhere around the hour mark for a full playthrough of that game. Pretty cool. Just kind of one of those like low poly sort of surrealist kind of indie mystery horror kind of whatchamacallit dealies. Pretty fun to play though. We do that kind of stuff on Wednesdays. I can't recall, as of recording this, what's next after the Paratopic playthrough. but you'll just have to, you'll have to go and find out, And then on Fridays, what's really fun is on Fridays we do a, what is it? I call it a nostalgia pizza party Friday night. And basically what that is we're basically just kind of going through, basically, what that is, it's kind of my way of sort of like recapturing the feeling of a very specific period in my life where my family would on Friday nights, my family would go to the Blockbuster. Yes, I am actually old enough to remember going to a Blockbuster. This was even like in the mid 2000s too, which I guess was kind of around the time when it started winding down a little bit. But anyways, this isn't the Blockbuster podcast. We would go on Fridays, and as a family, we would rent a movie or two, and I would get to rent a video game for my GameCube. And, we would order a pizza, and we would, on Friday night watch the movie, and then I would get to play my video game through the weekend and into the next week, I think, too, because then we would return all the stuff on the next Friday, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I was probably like 8 or like 10 or something around there when I was when this was going on. And I played a lot of really cool games during that time for the GameCube. Some of those games I actually ended up buying from GameStop after having played them back when GameStop was cool. Like if I could find a game that I had played from Blockbuster in a GameStop after, I would just absolutely beg my mom to get it for me because if I liked it, right? And I mean, I don't know. I kind of liked all the games that I played at that point. It's kind of, I was at that age where it was just like everything was so cool and like fresh and new. So I kind of liked everything that I played. And like the best example of that is Metroid Prime. I played Metroid Prime as a GameStop rental. And it was so funny, right? Like when I was young, that game kind of scared me a little bit. And I couldn't when I rented it, I couldn't make it past like I barely made it through the tutorial world. When you're like on the ship, fighting the space pirates freaked me out. But then I eventually found a copy at a GameStop, and I had my mom buy it for me, and then I made a little bit more progress with it over the years. I'm not really like much of a puzzle game kind of guy, and that game has like a lot of like puzzle elements to it. Despite the fact that it is like a 3D, like I think Metroid Prime might have been the first 3D Metroid game. Don't quote me on that though; I might be 100% incorrect, but I think I remember reading somewhere that Prime was the first 3D Metroid game. But there's a reason that the genre Metroidvania-like games is a thing, because, puzzles are a thing. I mean, I don't know. I do okay, but I usually have to default to, like, game guides. Moo. I usually have to default to game guides on stuff like that. Otherwise, I just have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm kind of like flubbering around. Metroid Prime is definitely one of those games that I plan on having on a nostalgia pizza party video. That one might also be one of those games where I try to do a full playthrough. It is kind of ironic, though, to be fair, and this is kind of one of those reasons why I'm hesitant, but I think it would still be cool to do, just because I know that they remade Metroid Prime for the Nintendo Switch. I don't have a Switch or anything like that. The most recent, Nintendo console that I own is a 3DS. I was also a huge Pokemon kid. This is kind of a funny little rabbit hole. But before I ever knew that there was Pokemon video games, I watched the anime, when it was on TV back in the day, and then I had a couple of the movies on VHS. I had what was it? Just Pokemon the movie, the first one with Mew and Mewtwo. And then what was it? Pokemon 2000, I think, was the one that had Lugia. That was the second one. Again, I might be wrong on that. But I used to have those on VHS. I wish I still had my copies. They got lost ages and ages ago. And then I was really big into Pokemon cards when I was a kid. I was a really big like card kid. You know, I really liked Pokemon, and I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh. And it's pretty crazy because, unbeknownst to me, my stepdad was really into Magic the Gathering. And it's really crazy because after my mom and stepdad got divorced when I was in freshman in high school, before I even knew that he used to like that game, I actually got into it, and I was into Magic the Gathering for quite a while. Still kind of am. I don't really play a lot. There's not really like a good place to play that I know of. Like there's not really a good card store near where I am. I'm kind of in like a smaller town right now. But yeah, I've always been a big card game kid, and I had a bunch of Pokemon cards and a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was growing up. And yeah, this was all before I even really knew what video games were, actually, like, to be fair. Like this would have been around the time when I was like maybe starting to like play like Halo 2 on my aunt's Xbox, like her original Xbox. But it never really occurred to me. I mean, obviously, how would I know, right, that Pokemon even had video games? But all that is to say that eventually, like later on down the line, when I did discover that there were Pokemon games, dude, I got into them hardcore. The first Pokemon game that I ever played was Emerald, and I played that on a friend. I had a friend who had I had a DS Lite too when I was a kid, and I had a friend who also had a DS Lite, and he had a copy of Emerald, and I played that. Or actually, no. What it was, this is funny, right? This is actually really funny. So there was one summer where, for some reason, this wasn't something that we did a lot when I was growing up, but my mom and my stepdad sent me and my sisters to it wasn't really a summer camp. To say summer camp is kind of like misleading a little bit, because what it was is it was essentially like a daycare. And that's really messed up because I think I was like, gosh, I would have been, I think I was in like 5th grade. So I mean, I wasn't like super old, but I also wasn't like super young either. But I'm fairly confident in saying that I'm pretty sure I was about 5th grade. And it was basically like a day camp in the summertime, where it was just like a place where, you know, we would go and me and my sisters would be there, and we would just kind of like play games and hang out and stuff like that. And I actually met a kid who had a copy of Emerald, and he let me play it there. And then I found out later that my friend from school, so yeah, it would have been 5th grade because I remember which friend it was. His name was Brandon. But Brandon had a copy of Pokemon Emerald as well, and I borrowed it from him, and I kind of accidentally never gave it back. So that's actually like the story of how I got my first Pokemon game. So Brandon, if you're out there, and if you by some like insane coincidence happen to stumble upon this video, you'll know who I am. Just know that I apologize for like inadvertently keeping your copy of Emerald. It wasn't on purpose, but by the time I realized where it was from and all that stuff, I was kind of like, oh, whoops. Yeah, it is what it is. We do goofy things when we're young like that. You know, not that there's any malicious intent behind it, but, you know, we do goofy things sometimes. So yeah, Emerald was the first Pokemon game that I ever played. And the first one that I actually was, like, the first one that I got my mom to buy for me was Pokemon Platinum. And it's kind of funny because I'm actually pretty sure that I got my copy of Pokemon Platinum before I like accidentally forever borrowed Emerald from that friend of mine. So actually I might be kind of wrong in saying that Emerald was the first Pokemon game that I owned. Now that I'm thinking about it, it actually might have been Platinum. But it was so close together, me getting Platinum and me getting that copy of Emerald, that it kind of like gets muddied a bit, you know. But I'm pretty sure it was Platinum. But anyway, Platinum. Oh my gosh, man, that game, like, whew, I sank so much time into playing that game because I used to have a DS Lite, right? And DS Lites are so cool. If you're not familiar, they're the DSs that had the Game Boy Advance cartridge slot in the bottom where you could play GBA games. Super freaking cool. And so I got Platinum, Emerald, and then eventually I traded like an action figure to a kid at the bus stop for his copy of Pokemon Leaf Green. Again, just kind of one of those goofy things that kids do, but he never came and asked for it back or anything like that. Like, I don't know, it kind of is what it is, right? It's one of those weird things that you think about as an adult, and you're like, oh my gosh. Like, you never give it two thoughts when you're, like, young like that, and when you're, like, playing it and really having a good time with it. You never have that thought of, like, man, like, should I actually even have this? Like, did I accidentally scam a kid at the bus stop? Looking back, obviously, you're like, oh, wow. But, yeah, I mean, he never came asking for it back, so, you know, it is what it is. And then Leaf Green, ooh, I played the crap out of that as well, too. Then I think the next one up was Pokemon Black version. I can't remember if I had the black version or white. Or no, that's not true. It was actually Heart Gold was next. I got a copy of Heart Gold, and I can't even remember where I got that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember where I got my copy of Heart Gold at all. Maybe I got it used from GameStop or something. Maybe I traded it from maybe I traded it from another kid. I don't know, dude. I can't even remember. But Heart Gold was actually the one that I got next, and then I got either black or white version. I can't remember which one it is. Maybe you guys can help me on that. I think it was black version because I remember the legendary for that game was the fire type dragon that was the white one. I think it's Reshiram, right? And then I think that the black dragon type that was like the electric type was Zekrom, right? I might be totally butchering that right now. It's been so freaking long since I played those. Black and white was kind of when I started getting out of it, and I was like shifting gears. That would have been, gosh, maybe if the timelines aren't like super muddied with it, that would have kind of been around the same-ish period as I was like getting into like Skyrim and stuff. Near abouts that time. Not to say that those games came out near each other, because I don't even know. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I just know that I was playing black or white. I think it was black version, because that's kind of how they do it in... Well, no, because Heart Gold, the legendary, is Ho-Oh. And... But I think that's how they did it with black and white, right? Like, they had it, like, inverse. So yeah, I think that's how they did it. But regardless, I had one of those, played that. And then I didn't really buy a new Pokemon game for a long time after that. Because then they came out with like Black 2 and White 2, and I kind of thought that was a little weird that they did that, because that was like the first time that they'd ever done something like that. So I don't know, it was just kind of weird for me, and I just didn't really play it at all. And then of course the 3DS came out, and then they had oh gosh, what was it? X and Y. I'm pretty sure X and Y were the first ones on the 3DS. And I didn't get those as they were coming out, like at all. I ended up getting a 3DS from my dad for Christmas, like some years later. And the year that I got my 3DS from my dad, oh, whoops. No. I don't want 23. The year that I got my 3DS from my dad, because it didn't like come with any games as I recall. But my dad, we went on like a road trip on that Christmas break to go see my grandma. And while we were on that road trip, my dad and I stopped into a Walmart, and he told me to pick out a couple of games. He told me to pick out a couple of games for my 3DS because he knew that it didn't come with any games. Or if it did, it might have just come with one, maybe? I really just can't even remember. But I distinctly remember picking out... oh my gosh, this is where it's going to get tough though, because I can't remember if I got Pokemon X version or Pokemon Y version, but I got one of those. And then I also got Pokemon, is it Alpha Sapphire, right? Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, or is it Omega Sapphire and Alpha Ruby? Oh my gosh, that's very confusing. So I basically got one of each of those two, and that was what got me back into, like, you know, new Pokemon games. And I played the crap out of those as well, too. So yeah, the most recent Nintendo console that I have is a 3DS, right? And just like that, I completely forgot what we were even talking about. So that's funny. Yeah, wow. Now I'm focusing on clearing this earth real fast. I know I was talking about being into Pokemon cards. Honestly, I kind of think this should be more than enough room. Let me maybe fill that in a little bit, make it look like somewhat natural. Just that way there's not like such a hard line right there. There you go. That looks a little bit better. Yeah. Now, what are we going to do for our farmhouse? Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to get rid of this freaking thing that's up here. I don't know why it hasn't despawned yet. There must be like a piece of wood in there that's like stuck up there. Oh. Indeed there was. I wonder if that was the only one. I think it might have been because I think I just saw something despawn. Yeah, oh, no. Get out of here, you freaking goons. You rapscallions, you scallywags, you scoundrels. What are you doing in my swamp? You freaking heathens. You absolute freaking you freaking goobers. What are you gonna do, huh? Coming to shore or what? All ashore? Who's going to shore, buddy? What? Can't even hit the broadside of a barn. Oh, my shield broke. Uh-oh. Oh, it totally did. Dude, and I don't even have any armor on. Jeez. As you can tell, I was not anticipating getting into a freaking skirmish over here. What the heck was that? That was weird. You guys see that? My game, like, glitched out. Oh! They're fast! Dude, they're fast. Well, that's kind of terrifying, actually. I need to get home, dude. I need to get inside the freaking fence. Wow. Look, they've taken over my freaking, my plot of land. Freaking jerks. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't even remember what I was talking about before I went into like a freaking 15-minute diatribe about like talking about Pokemon. So if I had a point that I was trying to make, sorry, but I'm probably not making that point. I wish I had some iron too. Maybe we need to shift gears just a little bit. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. I need to make me a little bit of food. So we'll throw that down there and grab us some bread. And then I am going to do a little bit of mining. There actually is a little mine shaft in here. There's a little mine shaft over here in this little village. I shut it. Oh my gosh, what in the world is going on in here? Okay. I shut this mine shaft up so that none of these villagers would get into it. But maybe I think it's time that we get in here and try to see if I can't find some iron. Oh, holy cow. Dang, it is like a right proper cave, isn't it? Here we go. Yeah, we haven't even really done any mining on this Minecraft playthrough. Let's play, whatever you want to call it. A lot of coal. Coal is good. I'll probably grab some of that on the way out. Zombie. Yeah, I would definitely love to do... Oh, I forgot I don't have a shield. I wish you could still block with swords. Jeez. That's crazy. I really need to find some more iron. Yeah, I'd love to do some gameplay of some Pokemon games as well, too. But it... Huh? We must just be, like, close enough to the surface that we can hear them. Because I was like, there shouldn't... Maybe there is a freaking villager lost down here. I don't know. I don't know. If you've watched any of my Nostalgia Pizza Party Friday night videos, you kind of know that I have, like, a... It's not that I have, like, a rule against, like, digital video games, per se. Because, like, some of the stuff that I have a plan to play is going to be, like, digital download stuff. So that's not really what it is. Nice. Here we go. Now we're cooking. I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant to use emulators. There's just something that feels like kind of weird about emulators for me. I mean, I don't necessarily have anything wrong with them. Like I've used them in the past. But there's just something so cool about like being able to actually like that's kind of part of the reason why I decided to even do the Nostalgia Pizza Party Friday nights was because I have that GameCube. And if you've watched any of those episodes, then you'll have seen the GameCube. I think on our first episode of our Call of Duty Finest Hour playthrough, I showed some B-roll footage of the GameCube. Oh, I was talking... Oh my gosh, I totally remember what I was talking about before I got derailed. I was talking about the Metroid Prime remake that they did for the Nintendo Switch. And I talked about how I hadn't played the Switch because I don't have a Switch because the last console that I have, the newest Nintendo console I have is a 3DS. Wow, talk about freaking circling it back. But I was saying that that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to do a Metroid Prime playthrough for my GameCube. Because, like, part of me is like, oh, well, is that too weird to do that when they have a remastered version? But at the same time, it's like, that shouldn't really stop me because the purpose of the channel is to play games that I played when I was, like, growing up or games that I just have, like, a really fond, like, nostalgia and, like, sentimental affection with. And that is one of the big ones, really. Like I said, I'm not really, like, a super, like, puzzle fanatic. Holy crap, have you guys ever seen a freaking vein of coal this much? This is a mineral-rich freaking area. This is amazing. I'm not really too big into, like, puzzle game kind of stuff. But Metroid Prime was so cool. Yeah, I was telling a story about, about how I was, like, deathly afraid of the space pirates. But I don't know, man. I just might say screw it. And I might just be like, you know what? I am going to do a freaking playthrough of Metroid Prime for my GameCube because the GameCube is amazing. GameCube is the greatest console ever. Um, but yeah, I'd love to do some freaking gameplay of oh my gosh, into Iron too. Right on, right on. Um, I'd love to do some gameplay of Pokemon uh, for the Nostalgia Pizza Party Friday nights. But I mean, there's ways that you can like download or not download. There is ways that you can use capture cards with like DSs, DS Lites, and stuff. Um, I the only way that I've seen so far, and granted, I haven't done like a tremendous amount of research into it, but I've seen a lot of guys online that seem to be like manually like actually physically modifying their DSs and stuff to add capture cards internally. And I mean, like, that's fine, I guess. And I could probably go back and like buy um, another DS Lite because I still have a Game Boy Advance SP. I still have a Nintendo DS Lite. I got rid of the DS Lite that I had when I was growing up as a kid. I kind of went through a phase where I was getting rid of a lot of stuff, and I got rid of a bunch of games and stuff too. And I like over the years have kind of been like rebuying games as I find them. And that's kind of what happened with a couple of my Pokemon games. Like my copy of what the hell was that? Dude, that's horrifying for vanilla Minecraft. Jeez. What the heck is that? Is that one of those foxes? That was freaking horrifying. Sorry, guys. That totally derailed my train of thought. You have to understand that I have recently on this channel done a Minecraft horror survival mod pack playthrough. And so, like, there is still a part of me that's, like, kind of on edge when I'm playing Minecraft, even when I know I'm just in, like, a vanilla world. I mean, it's not peaceful, you know, it's just, like, normal difficulty vanilla world. But, like, I don't know. I have PTSD from doing that horror mod playthrough. Oh yeah, there was a point like years ago where I sold a bunch of my stuff, and I sold my copy of Pokemon Platinum. I sold uh, my copy of Heart Gold. I sold my copy of Pokemon Black. I sold my DS Lite and my 3DS. And I kept my copies of Leaf Green. I kept my copy of Emerald. That made it sound like I have two copies of Leaf Green. What I meant to say is I kept my copies of my Game Boy Advance Pokemon games, so I kept my copy of Emerald and Leaf Green. And then I kept my Game Boy Advance SP. But I did end up going back and I repurchased a copy of Emerald, which you guys will not believe this, right? Like when I bought my copy of Platinum. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I meant to say I rebought a copy of Platinum, not Emerald. Wow, I am like confusing the crap out of myself. It's because I'm trying to like focus on other stuff while I'm trying to do this. But I repurchased a copy of Platinum, and it's freaking crazy because like I remember when I bought Platinum, it was probably around like 2011ish. Like I said, wait, what the heck am I doing? That is absolutely not how you make. That's not how you make a shield. Um, and when I purchased Platinum way back then, it was like $10, dude. It literally was like $10, and it's crazy to me because I sold it, right, and then I purchased another copy like just recently, like just a few years ago, and I guess the retro market has exploded with those old Pokemon games, and um, time to put on some iron pants. You guys ready for this? Oh, whoops. Um, Dude, the copy of Platinum that I bought a few years ago, that set me back $80. Like, can you guys actually believe that? Freaking $80 for a copy of Pokemon Platinum. Because, like, it is kind of like a retro game now, you know? I think it was 2009-ish. I don't know, but like that's just isn't that crazy? I don't know. I still can't get over that. It's been years and I still can't get over that. Um, but then yeah, like I said, I also freaking sold my copy of uh, is it not a thunderstorm? I guess maybe not. I sold my copy of Heart Gold as well too, and that's crazy because I went and I repurchased Soul Silver because I really like Lugia, right? Because I had that movie. Um, and when I went to go and repurchase my copy of Soul Silver that I have now, because I have all those games, like I'm never getting rid of my Pokemon games again. But when I went to go buy a copy of Soul Silver, it was $100. Like I am not even joshing you, $100, and that was probably like 5 years ago. And it's kind of I think stayed pretty consistent. So do pillagers like despawn at a certain point? Because I'm kind of looking around for these guys. Um, yeah, the prices on that have stayed kind of consistent. Like I think I was at a retro game store earlier this year, and um, I saw a copy of Heart Gold that was like $90, and I'm just like, jeez, man, that's crazy. But those games are so fun. Oh, dude, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are so cool because they added the feature where you could like walk with your Pokemon. I mean gosh, that just blew my mind as a kid. That was so cool. Man, that's crazy. I made all this armor, made a new shield, and did all that just for these guys to just not exist anymore. That's kind of goofy, but that's okay. Um, yeah, Pokemon, man. I'd love to play some of that. Um, DS lights are still like you can find them for decent prices. Just because I mean, gosh, there were so freaking many of them. You know, they were around for quite a while. They made a ton of them. There's a lot of them floating around still. Same with like 3DSs. You can get 3DSs pretty easily. Um, so like it wouldn't be the end of the world if I decided to like purchase a another DS Lite because I wouldn't do that to my freaking ones that I have now. I wouldn't make like permanent physical alterations to them like that to add like a capture card into it. But I would definitely be willing to purchase a second DS Lite and a second 3DS and maybe modify them if I decide to do it that way. Um, I just wonder. I need to look into it a little bit more because like I really wish that there was like an easy way. I wish there was something kind of like a Game Shark, like something where you could plug your cartridge into a device and then subsequently plug the device into your uh, DS Lite or 3DS and then like have that intermediary device go to your like PC. I wish they made something like that, but I haven't been able to find anything like that yet. Um, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that because I mean, look, worst comes to worst, I guess I could use emulators if I really wanted to like do some Pokemon gameplay on the Nostalgia Pizza Party Friday nights. Um, but there's just something so fun about like actually holding in your hands and like doing it. Like that's why I love the my GameCube for that because like I have a bunch of GameCube games and I have obviously the ability to somewhat easily get other GameCube games and then I have it, right? Like, you know, if you've watched the channel, if you've seen those Nostalgia Pizza Party videos, then no doubt you've probably seen the janky setup that I have my Elgato running to my GameCube. But it's so fun and like it totally that's the best way to bring back those memories is to actually like handle the controller and like, you know, boot up the console and it's just so much fun. I'd love to do some Pokemon gameplay for that. So maybe I'll look into that a little bit more as well too. But yeah, I'll definitely probably do Metroid Prime stuff with it as well too. Whether or not I do like a full playthrough, I mean, I don't know. There's part of me that really wants to. But I've kind of got like interesting plans for my Nostalgia Pizza Party videos. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning. Sorry about that. I'm recording this kind of late. I was trying to hold that yawn in. I've been holding that in for like 5 minutes. Um, what am I going to make next? I want to make a flint and steel so I can burn down that, what's left of that tree out there by my homestead. Because I do see, don't worry, I do see that we're kind of winding down on our time. I've been yapping at you for like an extra 10 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it, you know. Like I said, this is just kind of like free form, you know, jib-jabbing, you know, just having a good time. I don't really, like, I try to have, like, I don't know, I might not actually be able to even light that in the rain. Um, I have like general times that are kind of in the back of my mind when I record these videos, but like if I get on a roll, like what I'm doing now, I just don't really worry too much if I go like over like an extra 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm sure a lot of people probably appreciate, you know, the little bit of extra content. Um, but yeah, there's basically like kind of there's kind of three main formats that I'm experimenting with the Blockbuster Pizza Party Friday nights. The first kind of format that I'm kind of experimenting with is like the full playthroughs. Full playthroughs are a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my playthrough of Call of Duty Finest Hour quite a lot. Um, I know if you've watched some of the later videos in that series, that might be kind of hard to believe. Oh, that might kind of be hard to believe given how frustrated I've been getting. Yeah, see, I think it's not going to spread in the rain. Well, that's okay. Because it is kind of frustrating, right? It's like antiquated controls. You know, it's not like booting up, you know, Modern Warfare Remake or like Black Ops 6 or whatever, and diving into that. Like it's pretty tough. Like there's like a pretty intense learning curve to playing a really old Call of Duty game. Um, but uh, I've still had a lot of fun playing it. So full playthroughs, like I will be doing more full playthroughs of stuff, but I don't want that to be the only thing. I might do like some like one-off episodes for certain games where it's like, you know, maybe I'll just do like a more intensely, more editing intensive kind of just showcase of the game, a review if you will, but not really. Um, so that might be a thing. But then there's part of me that also kind of has this really kind of weird idea of doing like like because I want to do Skyrim. Obviously, that's kind of on the short list. I'd really love to do Oblivion, and then I'd really love to do Morrowind for Elder Scrolls because I just love the Elder Scrolls games. Right, I love those three games. Those are the only three that I've actually played. Well, except for ESO, but that's just not really the kind of stuff that I'm currently planning on getting into on the channel, like an MMORPG. I mean, maybe eventually, but not really. And I didn't really get into ESO really at all. It always kind of struck me as the kind of game that you played with friends, and I never had anybody else who like was interested in playing it or had an Xbox to play it with me. So yeah, it just wasn't a thing. Um, but I definitely want to do the three Elder Scrolls games, and there's a lot of like bigger games. Like we might maybe do some Fallout. Like oh my gosh, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Like come on. Um, so I might kind of experiment with doing this sort of format where like I start up a character in one of those games, and then I just kind of play it, and then kind of same with like Dark Souls, where I start a character and then I play through, and you know we just don't really might not have like a lot of consistency with how often I play it, but maybe like you know once a month or once every couple months I'll like cycle through the list of like you know maybe like you know we'll play an episode of Skyrim, play an episode of like Fallout New Vegas, play like an episode of Dark Souls, on some kind of like a non-standard rotation. And you know I feel like that's kind of like a decent middle ground between like full playthroughs and like one-off or two-off like specials. um like it literally seems to me like the hybrid of those two types of formats, because then you are blending that sort of like deeper dive that you get with like a let's play, like a full playthrough, but with games that are like open world, like open ended. Like Dark Souls is like there's obviously like a set goal, you know, there's like a set objective to that game, and there is like an end and everything like that. And then you could argue with like you know the Fallout games or the Elder Scrolls games, like yeah there's obviously like a story, right, but then you have like tens of hours, if not like potentially hundreds of hours of extra crap that you can do just in like side quests and like exploration and stuff. Like it's really open-ended. So like you could obviously do like full playthroughs of stuff like Skyrim and everything like that and just stick with like the main story, like the main quest line. But that's kind of boring, right? Because that's like most of what makes those games so fun is the ability to just go off and do whatever the heck you want. But obviously like it's just such a prolific game. Like Skyrim to me, I mean, gosh, dude, Skyrim is up there as far as like games that really like forged me as a person, when I was like, you know, getting into games and everything like that. really formative stuff, you know, real core memory stuff. So I would not be able to just do like a 1 or 2 episode thing with it. I just couldn't, you know. It deserves way more than that. But obviously, I'm not going to make this into like a Skyrim channel. So you have to strike that balance, right? I really feel like you have to strike that balance with it. So maybe doing something like that where we explore it like every so often and kind of like throw it into the rotation while also kind of doing like 1 and 2 off specials and then full playthroughs, just to kind of give like a really decent mix of content with the nostalgia pizza parties. That's kind of where I'm headed with that. And it's kind of a similar philosophy with the wildcard Wednesdays, like you know, just the kind of way that I want to do like full playthroughs of certain things, and then also like maybe like 1 or 2 off specials. But you know, you'll just have to stick around and see how that goes, because obviously, as at the time of recording and releasing this, it's a really new channel. So I'm just kind of experimenting with it, and really this is just a hobby for me. Like honestly, this is just kind of something that I'm doing in my spare time. I still work a full-time job and all that stuff, so you know, it is what it is. I'm just having fun with it. But yeah, man, I've kind of gone over by about 15 minutes of what I normally do for these relaxation blocks. So I think with that, me and the doggies will hunker down for the night, and we'll get a nice rest, get some good sleep, which you should too. You know, get your 8 hours or 7. You know, some people are good with 7. I float between like 7 and 8, or however long you like to sleep. But just make sure you get good sleep, good restful sleep. Drink a cup of water before you go to bed. Make sure you're all tucked in and cozy. Have like a midnight snack. My go-to for a midnight snack is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a glass of milk. Pretty good stuff. Maybe I need to download like a peanut butter and jelly mod for Minecraft. Are we going to get into mod reviews like that? Maybe. Potentially. But anyways, with that being said, tune in on Wednesday if you're watching this as it's released, and we'll have some more Wildcard Wednesday stuff for you. And then definitely tune in this Friday as well too, so you can see some more nostalgia stuff. But with that being said, I'm Saved Zillennial. If you have not already, please check out the channel. Maybe check out some of my other videos. Subscribe, leave a like, throw a comment down. You know, let me know what kind of games you would like to see as far as like nostalgia games. And I'm kind of compiling. I mentioned this in the last Minecraft relaxation blog, but I'm sort of compiling like a user, or not user, I keep wanting to say user suggestions, but it's viewer suggestions. I'd like to compile a list of viewer suggestions for games to play on the nostalgia block, just because I think, to me, it almost kind of like reminds me of this thing that we would do as kids of like bringing games to each other's house. Like I talked about this, I think, in one of my Nostalgia Pizza Party episodes. The first Zelda game that I ever played was Wind Waker, and that was somebody brought, a buddy of mine, we were having a sleepover, and he brought his copy for the GameCube over, and we played it that Friday night. And that's kind of what I feel like viewer suggestions could kind of like emulate, is that sort of like feeling that you get when like a buddy brings over like their video game, or like when you go to a friend's house and get to play a different game that you just have never played. So yeah, leave a like and leave a comment. Let me know what kind of games you used to play, or, you know, still kind of play. And with that being said, I won't take up any more of your time. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.